Hey, how are we all doing? Welcome back to the stream. It's great to have you here, and thank you for joining me for another day. So if you are with me so far, please do make sure you drop a like on the stream. Make sure we get that going. Let me know as well in the comments who we've got with us today. We've got Brucey Boy in the chat, and he's the only one so far. So it'll be great to hear from some of you other fine people that are in the chat. So do let me know who's hanging around. And yeah, obviously we're back for another stream. We haven't had too much movement on Bitcoin, have we? We fell back off after rallying up, and then we kind of hung around, didn't we? If we go to the 1 hour chart, let's go and have a look at the 1 hour chart. So yeah, obviously on Tuesday into Wednesday we fell back off, and yesterday we just kind of hung around, didn't we? We didn't really do much. It was just kind of up up down chop. But we did get, obviously, a rally put together, starting bang on midnight, basically, where it was just very steadily walked up, as you can see, walked up. And this went on for 7 hours, starting at midnight to 7 o'clock in the morning today. And then we've started to fall off ever so slowly. We are back below 109k as it stands. But if you just zoom out and take the bigger picture, we literally just aren't going anywhere. We are just stuck, and we are just hanging around, obviously, all throughout this region that we've been trading within. So there's nothing really to panic about. There's nothing to really be concerned about. But also we are, waiting for some sort of bullish signal to happen. So we are just basically just range bound for the time being. So that's kind of where we're at with Bitcoin. That is the essence of it. There's nothing really too much more else to divulge. We can obviously take a look at higher time frames and see what's happening, and maybe we'll do that today, of course, with maybe looking at something a bit different, maybe looking at, what is actually maybe the daily telling us, the weekly, the monthly. And yeah, we'll obviously have a really good stream. But something to bear in mind is that we do have CPI tomorrow. So CPI tomorrow. So make sure you join the stream tomorrow, because we will have CPI coming in fast to you on stream tomorrow. And then next Wednesday we do have FOMC. So as the thumbnail and the title of the stream suggests, we are in a period of 6 days now. 5 days, 6 days, obviously 5 days once CPI starts, of really crucial data to maybe fire Bitcoin and the market into expansion one way or another. So it's going to be an interesting couple of days, and ultimately we start it off with CPI tomorrow, and then we'll move on to FOMC on Wednesday, and then that's basically bringing us towards the end of the month, innit? That's October done, first month of Q4 done, and then we're into November then, which maybe has the recipe to be a lot better than October. But yeah, that's currently where we're at anyway, and that's what we are stuck with on Bitcoin for the time being. If we do go and have a look at one of the higher time frames, so for instance the daily, and let's zoom out on the daily. Let's see if my mouse is working, because the mouse will be good for this. Yeah, the mouse is working. So if we zoom out on the daily, let's get a fresh chart, shall we? Let's get a fresh chart. Let's get rid of this. If you zoom out on the daily, we literally just are pressing. We are pressing demand, and we are pressing support. If you take a look here, obviously this is where we had resistance come in last year when we topped out. See, we topped out there, and this can obviously just be pulled across. Now you do have Stonksy outlining it here with the red line, which is perfectly fine. But if we use a box, it's a bit more visible and gives us obviously a bit of room either side. But yeah, this is obviously where we're currently pressing. Now, that's fine. It's fine. There's nothing really wrong with Bitcoin just holding support, chilling at support. Before maybe we get some form of catalyst, which, maybe is going to be CPI, maybe it's not, maybe it's going to be FOMC, maybe it's not. But the path from here is obviously pretty clear and pretty transparent, because we have obviously a hold of support. Obviously lead to expansion to the downside. So then the main two obviously key directions for us to watch out for from here, because Bitcoin is sat at such a key crucial level and crucial region on the higher time frame. There may not be a rush for either of these moves to occur, and it may just sit pretty, keep chopping people off, because you gotta remember, anyone that's trying to trade this low time frame that isn't trading it with a good trading tool like Stonksy, or isn't trading it with a perfected trading system and strategy, are just going to be getting chopped up, because it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, and if you're not closing out profits quickly and maybe moving through the motions long and short, or closing out long, right, okay, that's done, I'm going to wait for it to come back down, whatever, then you're going to just be left getting chopped up in and around this area. Do we follow the announcement on live? Yeah, it'll be on tomorrow, yeah. Billigan, yes. Thank you very much for your question. And CPI data is tomorrow, yes. And I will be live for it, yeah. Yeah, I'll be live. I'm waiting for CPI and we'll watch it. We'll watch, obviously, the reaction to Bitcoin and whatever data comes in. We'll have that, live on stream. So I'll be going live at the same time tomorrow. Do make sure you join in. And then CPI is basically 24 hours from now. It's 1:30 UK time is when the CPI data comes out. So I'll be here for it. Make sure, of course, you subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Drop a like on the stream. And yeah, I will be. Apologies for my cough. I will be here, waiting for the data, and it should be a good one. It should be a good one. Now, for those of you, obviously, that want to trade stocks, that have been interested in trading stocks, I do have finally a platform to bring you to trade stocks. So this is called Vest Markets, and basically you can trade stocks, indices, and currencies on chain, and you can obviously use leverage as well. So you can use up to 25x leverage. Now, let me just show you exactly what it is that you can use with it. So you've got all stocks. So you've got all these. So you've got, Nvidia, Microsoft. You've got, your Mag 7. You've then got others like Netflix, Walmart, Palantir. You've then got something called new IPOs. So obviously new IPO'd ones. You've got your DATs. So, like your Bitmine, MicroStrategy, SBET, UPXI. So you've got all them on there as well. You've then obviously got some ETFs in here too. Indices, you've got your NASDAQ, your S&P. Obviously, the leverage on these differs as well. You can see you can trade these up to 50x. Your Forex, so your FX pairs, you got these on here. And again, you can utilize leverage from these. And then you can actually do your standard crypto if you want to. But yeah, obviously a great place to actually come and trade. If you're interested in trading your currencies and you're not really sure where to do them, you want to utilize crypto to do that. You can do that alongside obviously trading the S&P, NASDAQ, the crypto treasury companies here, but then also just stocks in general as well. So that is there. The link is in the description to sign up with the Stonksy referral too. So please make sure you do that, and I will just drop that into here as well. So there it is in the description. But I've dropped it into the chat because I know there's a lot of us here that obviously like to trade stocks. And this website, obviously, I don't think he might not be here. He may be listening to the AMA on CSE. But Wiz told me about this site, so big up Wiz. Great, obviously, bit of alpha by him about this website. So yeah, do check it out, and it's in the description for you. So that's what we're up to with that. Apart from that, like I said, there's nothing a huge amount going on, is there? We are let's see how many likes we're on. 4 likes. Come on, guys. Let's drop a big like. Let's drop a big like. Come on. Drop a big like. A big like. Let's get these likes up. Do take a second to scroll down, hit the like button. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. And it will help us out as well. Obviously, I wasn't streaming for a few days this week because I was ill. So we need to get back in the YouTube algorithm good books. And of course, you can help me do that by dropping a like. But yeah, what is having a good day today? Hype is having a very good day. As you can see, it's up over 7%. Having a really good time of it. Let me just get rid of these. Yeah, having a real good time of it. And I do suspect that we will see this a lot, even if Bitcoin just keeps chopping. You will have altcoins that start to show strength and start to show the kind of favorability in the market. Obviously, hype being one of them, which, you know, basically for the whole of this year has been one of the coins with the most attention on it and has done the best returns, you know, since the April crash. Hype went on to do a 6x from the bottom, which is, you know, amazing returns considering the state of the crypto market currently. One of the other ones is obviously Pump. Now, this has obviously been beat up a lot more, but it is showing, you know, signs of strength today. Again, very similar to Hype, over 7% up today. And yeah, it's basically just come back and revisited, you know, where the rally started, wasn't it? We had this accumulation here. We had push up, we then had revisit, and then obviously this is where the rally really started for Pump. So one of the more volatile ones for sure, you know, one of the more volatile altcoins to trade, but, you know, one of the best fundamentals for sure when it comes to altcoins. One of the best performing revenue systems in the industry. Obviously, you take out exchanges, Pump is basically in and around number one for, you know, daily revenue, and they are putting all that back into the token. So yeah, at some point I imagine that this will have another burst of strength. Don't know when, but today, you know, low time frame, it's doing very, very well. Aster is up almost 6% now. Aster's a bit of a tricky one because we don't really have much data for it. As you can see, all as we have now for where we're at, you know, in and around $1 and below, is literally just 3 4-hour candles, and that's it. You can see 1, 2, 3. Apart from that, we would be waiting patiently for it to maybe come back into this zone. But there's not really much. There's not a whole lot of data we could go off. You can see, and Stonksy's got it outlined automatically here, that we are actually having some SR coming on the 4-hour. This is. So this is where obviously price starts to be built. This is where, you know, new coins like this that list and then never really take time to, you know, build some foundation, you know, just straight rip, and then it needs to build it on the way down. But this is where, you know, you can look and say, okay, maybe a push solidly above kind of the 103 level would actually be a good sign, because, you know, you can see we had support coming in here, then we dropped through. We've then had resistance. Perhaps this would be a good area and a good line to use on Aster, should it, you know, comfortably become a nice area of SR in and around $1. But yeah, as for Stonksy, we don't have anything on the 4-hour on it, background color change wise. Mantle is just hanging around. So this is another one where it's not really doing much. It's having big price swings, and it's having, you know, lots of volatility in the price. But basically, what is Mantle doing at the moment? It's literally just doing nothing. It's just largely consolidated. I do apologize. It's largely consolidating within here. So yeah, a bit of a cool off time perhaps for Mantle. Obviously, after just such a run, you know, it ended up doing a what did it end up doing in the end? It was about a like 6, 7, 8x, wasn't it, from the April lows? But this Mantle's run actually started mostly in June/July. So very fast run up, really good returns, and eventually something like this just needs time to cool off. Obviously, that was a very, very aggressive sell off, but it just needs time to cool off. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on Mantle for sure. Let me know in the chat, what are you bullish on? What are you looking at the moment? What are your kind of hopes and dreams moving into November? But yeah, that's where we're at with MNT. Of course, we have Bitcoin, and Stonksy is still in the green background on Bitcoin after putting that double confirmation in there, as we can see. So we'll obviously monitor this throughout the stream and see what we've got cooking on Bitcoin. But yeah, nothing really too much to report on that. Same for ETH. You know, you can see Stonksy, green background, green arrow. There's your 5 minute. The 5 minute is just so good, so good for these, you know, super fast, volatile moves, but also ones that lead into, you know, bigger moves for a longer period of time. But you know, proof is in the pudding there. Bang, there we go. And like Bitcoin, this has remained open too. XRP, same thing. We are back to the starting point on XRP. So XRP has had a bit more weakness over the past few hours than Bitcoin and ETH. We are back to the starting point when everything started to push up. So XRP has completely retraced that as it stands. Solana's having a good old day of it, isn't it? Up 5% today. Obviously massively outperforming XRP, ETH, Bitcoin. It's outperforming all of them as it stands, and is obviously trying to get back to above 190. Let's have a look at Solana on the daily. Yeah, much like everything else, just kind of hanging around. But as you can see on the daily, this is clear demand, and obviously a clear line in the sand for Sol to hold. Should it get, you know, anywhere near down and in and around 174, 175, that is obviously a key thing to hold, and has been obviously a buy point each time it's tested it. It has been a buy in and around this grey box. Yesterday we didn't get in there, but we did get quite close. So it just goes to show you can just rinse and repeat these trades while we're in consolidation. But yeah, for those of you that have joined, please do drop a like. Please do subscribe if you're new too, and get your comments in. I want to know who we've got in the stream. If you do have anything to say, of course, pop in. If you do just want to say hi, that is perfectly fine as well. But yeah, for anyone new that around here, please do drop a subscribe. It'd be great to welcome you back every day. But yeah, Sol's having the best day of it at the moment out of the large caps that we've looked at. B&B kind of looking in and around the same, isn't it? It's kind of looking in and around the same as the rest. But what I will say on B&B is there is kind of this point here, isn't there? This kind of zone as far as becoming quite a key SR point for the price while it's in and around here until whatever happens next. But yeah, definitely a region worth keeping an eye on. And Stonksy remains long on it on the daily. I'm not sure what's happened on the hour. Yeah, not much since. Not much since. So yeah, there's nothing much going on B&B, as you can see. On a lot of these alts, it's definitely a scalpers market / day trader market for the time being, until we get, you know, some form of trend coming. But yeah, that's where we're up to on B&B. Doge, Adder, same thing, you know, same thing. You can see it's not on every single one, but on a lot of these, we've had the double confirmation come in this morning, and it's worked like an absolute treat. AVAX, same thing. There we go. Bang. Thank you very much. Sui, another one. These 5 minute double confirmations. Don't know what this is. Let me know in the chat. But this is something that we look at on a daily basis on the stream. Every single day, pretty much. We look at what is Stonksy doing on the 5 minute across the market. Yeah, very, very nice. And we are obviously flicking down through the alts. ENA is, I would probably say, definitely one of the strongest coins this week. As you can see, it's starting to kind of grind up very slowly. Let me just get rid of some of these, some of this. Yeah, it's starting to grind up very, very slowly. But it is showing signs of life again. And you've got to remember, obviously, ENA was one of the ones that basically just kept its persistent strength all throughout, obviously, the run-up. But then when things started to peel off, ENA obviously kept going for a while and then reached what we did actually mark on as a double top, and then sold off. If only we'd hit shorts on this. If only we'd hit shorts on it. Personally, I didn't short that down, but yeah, I wish I did. Jasmine. Yeah, we're coming to kind of the latter stages, aren't we? Of whoa. Yeah, so that's all the way. This thing is just insane, isn't it? This thing is just utterly insane. I mean, look at that. Since the start of the week, it's already done a already done a 3x. It is wild, isn't it? It's absolutely wild. What was Beyond Meat doing yesterday? Yeah, so this thing got put on a circuit breaker yesterday, didn't it? Because it just started just heavily dumping down. People taking profits. But Stonksy actually caught, the nice momentum shift and would have grabbed a nice 3x from obviously opening of the green background. But yeah, this thing, maybe it's 15 minutes of attention again is over. Let's see. What I'll do is I will get the poll up now. Boom. Yeah, so do make sure you go and vote in on the poll, obviously, for what direction do you think we're going to be taking on US Open. We've had a nice coverage of the crypto market there. If there is anything specific you want me to cover, of course, you can let me know in the chat and I'll take a look at whatever coin it is. Maybe you're hopeful on, maybe you're invested in, maybe just interested. If you just want me to take a look at it, that's fine. Of course, you can let me know if you want me to do that. But yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll have a look at some liquidation heat map data next. Clearing my nose. Yeah, so as you can see, we are just in a phase of the market where what is the main objective of the market at the moment? When you look at the market, when you look at obviously the price action of Bitcoin, obviously what that is then doing, in terms of where is it dragging alts, what is the main objective of Bitcoin currently while we are in consolidation? And number one answer to that is liquidity hunting, aka, chopping people up. Basically, the price moving up and down, taking out longs, taking out shorts, taking out longs again, taking out shorts again. And you can see this very clearly on the 3-day liquidation heat map where the price is basically not gone anywhere, but it's been sourcing any big chunks of liquidity and areas that it can get its hands on without actually providing any real volatility or volatile movement. Just very quick bursts into spaces of interest, obviously where liquidity is, grabbing them, and then of course dropping back to the opposite direction or just hanging around. So this is obviously very evident, and that is apologies, that is something key to remember when markets are in a phase of consolidation. What is the number one objective of them? And that is basically just liquidity games. Go and find liquidity, source liquidity. And how do you do that? You chop people up to the upside and to the downside. But yeah, that's where we're up to with that. I will take a look at a bit of a high time frame heat map because I'm interested to see what it's showing. So on the 2 week, it's showing obviously the biggest hotspots to the upside. Now, you can see this directly on charts without looking at heat maps if you don't want to. If you want to look at heat maps, then obviously they are useful because they look nice for one. You know, it looks like a nice image. And it does obviously show you areas of interest. But anywhere on a chart that has basically a point of where price comes into supply and demand, you're going to have a lot of liquidity being kept there. So obviously we look at this, and I can give you a really good example of here. So obviously we came up to 116k after the instant earlier in the month. We then hung around for a day or so and then began to fall off. Now we dropped down, we then bounced up, and then look what we got here. We obviously got quite a few upper wicks firing into here, you know, bang, 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 showing that, you know, there's big seller absorption and big resistance coming in here in the order book. That led to obviously price falling off and doing its thing. Now, when you leave something like this behind, you're leaving behind liquidity above. So you can see that just by obviously the number of wicks and obviously where resistance came in. Now, this is when I'm talking about liquidity games and the market sourcing liquidity. This is a prime example of big, fast, aggressive move into a level. We then got what was basically just a swipe, wasn't it? It was a swipe to come and clear out all these wicks here and take any liquidity above. And then there comes the reversal to then go and take out people that had been late to long in this. And then ultimately, we then came down and took out, you know, what was the low. So, you know, if you were getting long here before this happened, where would you have put your stop? Probably below the lows, you know, in and around here. So then what the market did was come out and it just cleaned out any liquidity below there. And that's the kind of market that we're in at the moment, while maybe it's still recovering from what happened earlier in the month with the liquidation event, while we maybe not got any catalysts, whatever it may be. It is just a market sourcing liquidity. Now, obviously, leaving this behind, you know that there's going to be liquidity above there. The other area of interest, so obviously remember what I said about this area. This is basically just copy and stick on here. You know, you can see here, we printed nice resistance. Nice, very calm, obviously, formation of the candles, and then sell off. So you know that there is going to be nice chunks of liquidity above here, because where would people's liquidations be? Where would people's stops be? If you are shorting this here, you're going to stick them in and around up here, aren't you? So these can be seen directly on the chart without using a heat map, but obviously it's good to look at the heat map and then go over to the chart and actually explain why. Please do, though, if you've got anything to say, drop a comment in there. But yeah, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you drop a like on the stream. And if anyone is new around here, please do make sure that you subscribe. I do go live all the way through Monday to Friday on here. And I am live, obviously, throughout the opening of US market and then any data releases that we get. I will also be live next Wednesday in the evening too, for obviously FOMC. Shall we see what news we've got hanging around? Let's see, what have we got? 5 hours ago. Jupiter enters prediction market race with Kalshi partnership on Solana. Solana-based Jupiter Exchange is launching a native prediction market in partnership with Kalshi. The beta is live with its first event, the Mexico Grand Prix, and aims to rival Polymarket and Kalshi as institutional investment in prediction markets hits record highs. Yeah, I think this is something that we're going to see more and more of, an interest in prediction markets. So I don't know what is it called? What is it called? Is it just called Jupiter Prediction Market? Yeah, I think this is something that is it's gonna grow more and more, definitely, over the coming years, because it's also a way for companies to get around, the strict and rigid regulations around gambling, around leverage trading, around all of that. It's a way basically to bypass this by, labeling it prediction markets and obviously giving a few different outcomes for people to, try and trade up and down. I assume, regulation-wise, it's a lot easier to do that than go and opening like a betting website or whatever. Right, what have we got? We've got US inflation expected to hit 17-month high as Trump tariff drive up prices. Yeah, so tomorrow, the forecast for inflation is 3.1%. The one before that was 2.8, I think, or 2.9. So obviously they are forecasting an uptick in inflation. It could come in higher, it could come in lower, but the forecast is 3.1, which would be a 17-month high. And of course, this is the layover that you get with stuff like this. Inflation is a lagging indicator. It's a lagging piece of data. It takes a while for things to show. So something like Trump tariffs, which came into effect many months ago, they will only really start to be showing in the inflation data what they're doing to the US economy round about, this mark now. We're at the 6-month mark now, basically from when they come into play and when there was at peak kind of attention. So from now onwards, we'll basically see what effect is Trump tariffs having on inflation. Now, of course, this is important because whether you're interested in inflation or not, if you are obviously a trader of the market, an investor in the market, this is, of course, your concern, because this is going to likely affect the stock market, the the crypto market, for what outcome we have. If we get a cool piece of inflation, the market may take it as a chance to push up leading into FOMC. If we get on forecast, I really don't know if the market would see that as a good thing or not, because we are seeing a slow uptick in inflation again. The forecasts by the Fed have been ticking up. And then, of course, if inflation is actually following that and not coming below forecast, is that actually a good thing? You then also have the scenario, of course, it comes in hot, which, could throw the outcome of the FOMC meeting all up in air. Do they actually have another cut? Depending on how hot it comes in, is that a real cause for concern for the Fed? So, yeah, it's going to be massively, massively interesting to see what happens. But yeah, the Fed still expects rate cuts. The last time I checked on FedWatch, it was priced at massively. It was like over 90% for a 25 basis point cut. But of course, that could dramatically change depending on what happens with CPI tomorrow. So this time tomorrow, we'll have actually had CPI. And we'll be able to see what effect it's having on the market. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. Nothing really much at all. It's not really doing much. What have we got here? Revolut secures MiCA license in Cyprus. Just seeing if there's any other. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone saw yesterday or not, but obviously Peter Schiff was on Thread Guys podcast. Obviously, Peter Schiff, long-term gold bull and Bitcoin bear. But he's doing actually something quite interesting, is that he is going to put gold on the blockchain in the form of obviously tokenized gold, which, while obviously some people say, why do you need that? Why do you need Bitcoin or whatever? But without doubt, this will instantly probably become one of the easiest ways to actually get your hands on gold if you want to. Now, CZ actually commented on this, as you can see here, and raised some, points of interest, such as, you are trusting the issuer of the gold rather than, holding the actual underlying asset yourself. And he called it a trust me bro asset. So he said, tokenized gold is not gold, but a promise dependent on third-party custody. It's tokenizing that you can trust some third party will give you your gold at some later date, even after their management changes, maybe decades later during a war. And obviously this came from Peter Schiff because he's going to be the one that's actually behind this and launching it. So it says he's got to, users will be able to buy and store gold in a vault via an app, transfer ownership through a blockchain, or redeem it for physical gold. He described it as an easier way to spend gold digitally, complete with debit cards linked to gold holdings. So that's actually quite interesting, because obviously the whole idea of gold has always been store value. You can't spend it, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can't just pick it up and move it around, whatever. Obviously with Bitcoin, there's many places now and there's many ways, with obviously crypto cards and stuff like that, where, you can spend your Bitcoin, you can liquidate your Bitcoin into obviously spending value, and you've never really been able to do that with gold. But if this is obviously going to become something where, first and foremost, it's a much easier way to move around gold and have gold in a position where it's easily transferable. Now, whether you think it's a good thing or not that you trust in a third party to custody the gold, obviously follow through on the promise that the gold is there and blah, blah, blah. I imagine that they'll obviously have to be audited and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting thing. And the fact it's on blockchain, don't know what blockchain it's going to be on yet. I don't know if he said or not, but it definitely is interesting. And yeah, I don't see it as a bad thing. It's not really going to do anything to crypto or Bitcoin, is it? If you haven't yet, do make sure you vote on the poll. We've had 5 votes so far. What direction do you think Bitcoin is going to go on US Open? I am just going to go to the toilet. So when we come back, if anyone wants to drop any specific tickers in the chat for me to look at, I'll rattle through them first and we'll have a look. If not, we'll just carry on, obviously, cracking through my schedule that I've got written out for the stream. So yeah, I'll let you guys go and get a drink or whatever it is you may want to do. There we go. Just let me put that in there. Yeah, go and grab a drink, grab something to eat, go toilet yourself, whatever it is you want to do, or just hang around. Yeah, like I said, if you're hanging around, thank you very much for watching. Please do stick around. And yeah, if you're not signed up to Vest Markets yet, if you're interested in your TRADFI trading, trading stocks, trading the S&P 500 or NASDAQ, or trading currency pairs, this is a great place to do it on chain using crypto. And obviously you can utilize leverage with this as well. So the link for that is in the description. I did put it in the chat as well. Go and grab it with the Stonksy referral, which will give you something nice as well, I believe. I'm not exactly sure what, I'll be honest, but it does support the stream and obviously supports us at Stonksy. So yeah, do let me know, obviously, if you've gone and done this, and let me know what you think of it. But yeah, I'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Right, I am back. Thank you very much for bearing with me while I was away. Right, let's crack on, shall we? Thank you, everyone that's hung around. Let's see, what is the poll up to? 60-40. Dave, we're just finishing AMA, then we'll join. Yeah, no worries, mate. join in whenever. To be honest, quite happy with having 19 viewers, even with the AMA going on. Very good. So everyone that's actually sitting here at the moment, thank you very much. Make sure you drop a like at a good like ratio, 13 likes, 19 viewers. So yeah, do make sure if you haven't, drop a like, vote on the poll, and we'll be carrying on the stream now. Let me just get some more of this good stuff. Lovely. Clear the airways. Right. So what have we done so far? We've had a full look through, basically the full watch list, haven't we? The full altcoin market, Bitcoin. Let's have a look to see how crypto-related stocks are going to open. So MSTR is up to 285 pre-market after being down almost 7% yesterday at closing. Coinbase up to 321, so not really that much up at all. Circle is up very ever so slightly, up to 125. What's gold doing today? Let's see what's gold doing today. So gold's putting in quite a slow and steady push back to the upside, isn't it? Obviously, after it had just a monstrous, yeah, really, that's the right word for this move, a monstrous drop down. I mean, what was it in the end? Obviously, falling off from its high there. Yeah, almost a 9% fall off inside, like, basically a day. It's crazy, obviously, for something like gold at its market cap as well. You know, at a $30 trillion market cap, that's almost $3 trillion wiped off the market cap, isn't it? But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be starting to putting together a pushback to the upside. Now, do remember you can trade gold on BLOFIN. You can trade it under spot, and you can trade it on futures using leverage. You can do that under the ticket XAUT, which is obviously Tether Gold. And you can do that on BLOFIN if I get it up for you. Here it is. So yeah, you can actually do this, and you can utilize, of course, leverage. I believe it's up to 20x, I think, or 25x on gold, I believe. But yeah, you can do that on BLOFIN. So again, you know, if you're not signed up to BLOFIN, links in the description. I'll put it in the chat now as well. And you do get yourself some great welcome bonuses. BLOFIN is also non-KYC, if you didn't know. It's non-KYC, so you sign up with just an email. Let's get that in there. Afternoon. Hey, Stonksy, how we doing? Just got back from the gym. What was your training, mate? What day was it? What day was your training? What's been happening? Not much, mate. We've been having a nice chilled stream so far. We've just been rattling through. Mostly we've looked at the crypto market so far. Yeah, we've just been looking at Bitcoin, altcoins, any news. Firewatch, how we doing? Great to see you. Got any thoughts on order? We'll have a look at order now. Steve-O, what's good, mate? What's good? Long 100x. F it. Get rich or die trying. It's very degen of you. I am back testing. I am back testing So boring. What do you mean? You 18 back testing? What do you mean? You sit? Oh, you're sitting? Maybe sitting back testing? Is that what you meant to say? Sitting? Oh, what you back testing? What you back testing, Stuo? Come on. What are you sitting there back testing, mate? What are you up to on this fine day? What was I gonna do then? Oh yeah, order. Stonksy wants me to look at order. Let's see. This thing. Let's see. Oh, this thing had a really good rally, didn't it? I mean, look at that. You know, it was in that accumulation range there, around 7 cents, wasn't it? Really, really strong push up. Let's see on the weekly. Right, so this is actually, I must have looked at this a long while ago. Don't remember. This isn't a new coin, but it's not been around for ages. It's been around about a year, hasn't it? So it has got a decent amount of data for us to look at. What I will say is, though, it's not one, and this is actually quite refreshing to see in it. It's not a new coin that's just come out and then just died a death and just never done anything. You know, it launched, it pushed up, it come down, formed a base, and then obviously went on to go to, new highs by almost a 10x, really. So this is actually nice and refreshing to see that, there's some strength in new coins still. But where are you looking from here? What I would say is, I'm not normally obviously a big patterns person, but it does seem like there's some sort of, kind of, I don't know what you call it, a falling wedge or something, but definitely price is being compressed. Price is definitely being compressed to a point here where obviously if this goes on for another few days, probably get something, explosive happening on it. You would think anyway. Now, will it go up or down? It is the ultimate question, isn't it? What I would say is there's definitely daily demand down here. So obviously you can see, it came in here. This is obviously pinpoint perfect where it bounced off on the 10th. So from here, you could come down here. Now again, obviously you want this to hold if you're bullish on it. Or ultimately it may end up breaking out of this wedge and then going to the upside there. So they're obviously the two bullish cases. The bearish case is obviously that this doesn't hold and it comes all the way back down here. But that's what I probably would say on order. All hush for now. All right, okay. All hush for now. Okay, Stuo. Well, good luck, mate. Told you, keep a short on KDA. Just double down my short. I've got a sketchy long in from 20 cents. A sketchy long, eh? You love it, you Gonksy, don't you? So you're long from down here. I would say probably, yeah. I mean, you're in and around where demand is, aren't you? At 20 cents, you're in and around there. I would say probably, yeah, between now and Monday. It should have some volatility kicking. Looking at it anyway, because it's basically just coming to a point of compression. Let's have a look at where is KDA. Here it is. Yeah, wow. Well, the thing is, this thing will likely just obviously keep bleeding down. But what you do want to watch out for is perhaps it's at some point, because we won't know this obviously until it comes out, but there may be people interested in buying it. I know we discussed this on stream with Wiz yesterday, but there may be people interested in actually buying, KDA in terms of the company, which could give it obviously just a very quick short squeeze. But ultimately, currently there is obviously no bullish narrative. There's no bullish catalyst. There is no bullish scenario for KDA, apart from obviously just hypothetical, theoretical things that may happen with it. Ultimately, yeah, this should, you would imagine, should just keep gradually trading down to zero. But yeah, anyone that was short on this, very well done. Cracking job. Really good. Another Scott in the chat. Scottish crypto is always in. Always in. Sorry, I was just reading something. What a performance from Liverpool. Yeah, well, it was nice to see, mate. It was nice to see. Yeah, it was nice to see, because once we went 1-0 down, I was just thinking, oh, no, not again. Not again. But, I mean, yeah, it was great. And do you know what was refreshing? It was actually refreshing for Slot to finally acknowledge that players needed to be dropped and the system needed to be changed. So, you know, it was good to see Salah getting dropped, because, you know, he's just not performed well and shouldn't be rewarded with a place in the team just because he's Salah. That front three, I think, is probably our best front three. It probably in and around swapping. I would like to see Chiesa get a proper... I mean, it was good to see yesterday because he got a proper, like, 35, 40 minutes, didn't he? But I would like to actually see him get a run of starts, because he's ultimately the guy that, you know, you look to on the bench to actually, like, help you out when you need it. But he just works for the team. You know, he comes on and he does nothing but run around and just put everything into it. So it would actually be nice to see him get some starts and actually see what he could do and see what he'd look like if he was actually given a chance to say, you know, I'm going to start you for the next, 3 games or whatever to see what you can do, and not just be kind of like a Origi kind of figure where you're always just looking to bring him off the bench. But yeah, it was good performance, and hopefully that continues. We've got Brentford on the weekend, haven't we? Saturday, 8 o'clock. I like Saturday late night football, mate. A lot of people don't like it, do they? But I like some Saturday night football. Some exchanges reviewing to delist KDA. I'm worried about my short. What will happen to my short funds if they delist? Yeah, they'll pay out. Yeah. They pay out, mate. But probably what will happen is it'll probably just dump more. And I assume that you'll get to a position where you'd be happy to just close it out anyway. But it will, you know, if the more exchanges that come out and say they're going to delist it, the more that it will likely, anyway, you would imagine, just keep falling. But yeah, I mean, the liquidity on it will be drying up. So, obviously, if there's any big whales left that haven't got out, the more they dump, the more it should tank the price percentage-wise, because obviously it'll just keep eating into the liquidity. And liquidity providers on it have probably, you know, if there's any liquidity providers, you know, in pools, on dexes and that, I imagine they've already probably pulled the liquidity from it, because you don't want to be left holding tokens, do you? But yeah, really nice call on it, mate. Really nice call on it. They don't come around often, them, do they? But when they do, obviously they're the best payouts. Anything that just ultimately drops. What should we... But yeah, actually, while we've had loads of people join, if you are looking to trade any stocks, or if you're looking to trade any currencies or whatever, there is a link in the description. I've put it in the chat, but it'll be all the way up there. This was a platform that Wiz got me onto, Vest Markets, and basically you can just trade stocks on chain, obviously, with crypto, and you can use leverage. So if you click on Nvidia, obviously you can up to 25x leverage. You don't have to use that. You can drop it down, obviously, if you want. But you long and short it, all the jazz as you would normally do. But obviously it's on chain, and of course you've got a list of all stocks here. So you got your Mag 7, then you've got others, like Netflix, Palantir, Walmart. You've then got a list of new IPOs. So you got Gemini on there. Your treasury companies, so Bitmain, MicroStrategy, HIPD, SBET, UPXI. You got some ETFs on there too. You got indices, so your Nasdaq, SP 500, and then of course your Forex. So if you want to trade any currency pairs, do crypto on there as well. But yeah, if you're looking to obviously trade any stocks, any indices, FX, whatever, do make sure you click the link in the description and sign up to this. I will put it in the chat now as well. And of course, any platforms like this that you sign up to ultimately help the channel out, because it obviously keeps the channel going, and it does help it out. So please do sign up to that if you haven't. I will put it in there. It is in the description as well. But really good, obviously on chain as well, so you don't have to sign up to something like Trading 212 or Weeble or whatever. But it is in there for you. So obviously it help me out, help the channel out if you do go and create an account and start using it. If you want to do some stock trading, some trading of the SP 500, trading of currencies. But what was we covering? Oh so we've already looked at the news before. There's not really that much interesting news popping around in crypto, I'll be honest. The most interesting news would probably come that Peter Schiff is going to start tokenizing gold on chain. That is quite interesting, to be fair. But what we want is a Bitcoin move, innit? What we want and what we need is a Bitcoin move. Trade Nation is good. I mean, thing is, this is good for on chain, innit? I mean, this is all on chain, and you can do a bit of everything. But do go check it out. Wiz is the trade master of stocks, mate. He's insane, isn't he? He's insane. Such a good stock trader. Such a good stock trader. What's going on with the S&P? This had a bounce back, actually. So this obviously took a big tumble yesterday, and it's actually bled back down a bit. What is Nvidia doing pre-market? 179. This is good for I don't know if anyone has actually been following along. But obviously I was talking about the short ETFs a while ago. Now, in the aim of transparency, I will tell you that my rate of return across, so far, I've only shorted Nvidia and shorted the SP 500 with short ETFs. But my rate of return on them from entry currently is 8%. Now, obviously, this could be quickly wiped out if the stock market does another leg higher or whatever. I'll obviously have to sit in a loss and just keep adding to them. But the rate of return's 8% so far, so not bad at all, really, I don't think. Not bad at all. But yeah, what I mean, hype is showing some great strength in the market, and this is obviously good to see, because while Bitcoin is just 1.3% up, we are actually seeing strength in altcoins. You know, and we're seeing some significant strength in altcoins too. You know, Bitcoin is just 1.3% up. Hype is almost 11% up. You've got Pump approaching being 10% up. Aster's 6% up. Solana is almost 5% up. Now, this isn't like a market-wide thing. As you can see, a lot of things are maybe 1-2% up. But it's good to see. I mean, this is obviously a start. Now, it's actually quite interesting to see Hype and Pump being the two outperformers, because they are two of obviously the biggest revenue protocols in the industry in terms of, you know, taking away, you know, not accounted for exchanges. But Hype, Pump, obviously both, you know, really good revenue models, and obviously models that do token buybacks. So it's actually really interesting to see that these two up so much today. And what is the key underlying factor? They both make really good revenue day to day, and they both, you know, do token buybacks with revenue. So it just goes to show, fundamentally, the market is still favorable on good fundamentals. I'm going to go and close out the poll now. So it actually come down pretty even, to be fair. Came down to pretty even, didn't it? But yeah, we have 15 minutes to go until US Open anyway. Got 15 minutes to go until US Open. And then we'll see what's what, won't we? Then we'll see what's what. I think, I would imagine, though. I mean, like I just mentioned, with altcoins popping off. But with having CPI tomorrow, you do think, don't you, the logical thing would be to obviously the market to just do nothing, because who is going to be positioning themselves bigly going into CPI tomorrow? So maybe it is a recipe for, we have another day of kind of dullness in the market. And at the moment, it's just a scalper's paradise, isn't it? It's the time to be in trades for a short term, taking profit, looking for the next one, not really holding on to anything, just in and out of trades, profit, thank you very much, bang, look for the next one, whatever. It's not really a market at the moment to be holding trades, unless you're in from the bottom and you just obviously kind of have the idea that you've caught the bottom, which will be a fantastic position to be in. Now, either that, or we do sometimes get de-risking going into things. But I think it would make sense for the de-risking more so to go in towards FOMC than CPI. I got stopped out of my hype trade, didn't get back in, gutted. Oh, mate, that is gutting. That is gutting. Just think about all them glorious gains you could have made now, mate. Just think about all them glorious gains you could have been making. Sorry to be that guy. But yeah, just think about it, mate. Just think about how much profit you'd have been in. Just think about you wouldn't have took the negative on the stop loss or anything, and you'd have been in glorious profit now with a 10% move. Just rubbing a bit of salt in there. Just rubbing a bit of salt in the wounds there. I know how it feels, mate. I know how it feels. It's just one of them things, innit? Just, you know, move on. Move on to the next one. Just one of them things. I do wonder. I do wonder if this bubble has burst. I do wonder if this bubble has burst, to be honest. I am wondering this. This obviously came out, and firstly, obviously, big rally up after such a lengthy consolidation for basically years. Then dip back down, and then we come up, basically cleared liquidity, swung, failed the highs, basically putting kind of like a double top. I am kind of wondering, like, okay, is this thing kind of gone now? This isn't in a position where I don't think I would want to short it, because you have to have you'd want some kind of protection, wouldn't you? You wouldn't. I mean, to get it above the highs would be insane. But you'd probably at least, want some decent room on it. If it gets pushed back up, I may entertain it. But it's actually quite interesting, because it looks like maybe profits are now rotating out of ZEC and into XMR, back into Monero, because this is having a great day today. This is up 6%. So that is actually something to watch, is while this has, basically been consolidating since May, because this had its run earlier, didn't it, in the year, throughout May, and basically has done nothing since. It's just been cooling off, consolidating. But after ZEC having its, just monster, like 5, 6, 7x move, profits maybe now rotate out of that back into Monero. It's an interesting theory. Ultimately, something like this that isn't a powerhouse and isn't one of the large caps, if it turns out that obviously ZEC is done, then maybe this just slowly drifts all the way back down. But yeah, it's something to keep an eye on. Again, not really interested in trading it unless this gets like kind of a push back up. I may entertain it, just having like a little a short on it to see if you could catch obviously what maybe is the top on it. But apart from that, just kind of interested in observing. I know, had a nice entry as well. Well, that'll teach you, owner. That'll teach you. Has anyone watched the Ed Gein series on Netflix? I'm nearly finished with it. I've got 15 minutes left to watch of the last episode. But that is, I'll tell you what, as far as like well put together ones, it's definitely as good as the Dharma one. I'm gonna watch the other one next because I haven't watched it, the Mendes one. That came out last year, didn't it? I never watched that, but I'm gonna watch that next. But obviously the Ed Gein one has kind of like a unique spin on it, doesn't it? Because it was so long ago, and basically was what kickstarted like that kind of gruesome horror style in films, wasn't it? And then also obviously people copying him. We've got 8 minutes to go until US Open anyway. Just getting chop on the S&P 500. Just chopping around. Chop, chop, chop. Apart from that, yeah, we've not got really much going on, have we? We've not really got much going on coming into the end of the month. Is it? When is it the end of the month? Is it week tomorrow? Let me see. Yeah, week tomorrow. Halloween, week tomorrow. But yeah, end of the month, a week tomorrow. So interesting that the end of the month is on a Friday this time as well. So lines up very nicely for TRADFI. Last trading day of the month on a Friday, and first trading day of the month on a Monday. In terms of TRADFI, anyway. We kind of ran through everything now that I had planned out in terms of segments for the stream. So the floor is your guys. If you want me to look at what's happened there. Hang on. My tower, my tower extension fell on the floor. Let me just up the display again. Yeah, if you want me to check through anything, of course you can let me know. Just gonna let's have a little check through. 48-hour streamathon day 3. That doesn't really make any sense, does it? I suppose it does actually. It's a good day to hodl. Yeah, no, I've not really seen anything. Yeah. Did you see the US national debt? Actually, we look at that. That reached 38 trillion for the first time, didn't it, yesterday? Let's see. Let me whack my screen back on. Yeah, it is. It's yeah, next Wednesday. I will be live for it. But I tell you what we'll do after this is we'll check to see what the market is pricing in for rate in terms of rate decision. This will probably largely be I don't think really you can underestimate the importance of tomorrow's CPI because it's forecasting higher and it's forecasting it now back in the 3%. It really is a crucial marker because if it comes in hot, and in the scenario it coming quite a bit hot, say it come in at like 3.5, that is going to throw a real curveball to the Fed because inflation then is really starting to uptick. But yeah, the national debt crossed 38 trillion for the first time, which is insane, isn't it? Just utterly insane. It is wild. 38 trillion. But yeah, let's see what is being priced in ahead of the FOMC meeting. Second to last one of the year, this as well, remember? Only got one more after this. So it's only a 25 basis point cut that's coming in terms of probability. So 25 basis point cut, that has a 98.9% probability with a 1.1% chance of holding rates. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think the chances of the Fed double rate cutting are very, very slim. I mean, as this suggests, it's not obviously even accounted for. It's not even got 0.1% in terms of probability. But tomorrow's CPI is going to have a significant factor on what the Fed do. If CPI came in really cool, then anything could happen, couldn't it? But as it stands, the market really isn't seeing anything apart from a 25 basis point cut. But yeah, we've nearly got US Open coming in now. So let's get ready for it, shall we? Let's get ready to rumble. Get ready to ring the bell as well. Get ready to ring the bell. Let's see. That green background's closed out on Stonksy now on the 5 minute. And there we go. There you go. So the US market is open. They are open for business. The S&P is pushing back to the upside. Let's see how the Mag 7's opened. So we've got Nvidia up by 0.2%. You've got Apple up by 0.33%. Tesla falling off massively. So obviously Tesla had earnings yesterday, which it was down post-market yesterday after earnings. And it's down massively today. Down over 4% out the gates. That is a big drop off. Yeah, Bitcoin not really doing anything so far. We're not really doing anything so far. What I want to do actually is split this. And I want to throw up that Tesla chart. Oof. It is dropping like a stone, isn't it? It is dropping like a stone. Now, we do have, obviously, all these Mag 7 earnings coming through now. I can't remember what was next. Ding-a-ling. Yeah, that's right, Scotty, that's right. If you haven't dropped a like, drop a like on the stream. Make sure you do that. And, of course, if you want to trade crypto anywhere, if you want to trade Bitcoin, if you want somewhere to buy and sell spot, if you want an exchange where you can, be comfortable with holding stables on there, of course, BLOFIN is the place for that. If you aren't signed up to BLOFIN, the link is in the description. I will also throw it into the chat now as well. You get yourself some great welcome bonuses too. And key thing is, it's non-KYC, so you don't have to obviously KYC verify. But if you do want to trade any stocks, if you want to trade, the S&P 500, if you want to trade any of the Mag 7, if you want to trade any of the treasury companies, you can do that on Best Markets. And that link is in the description to sign up with the Stonksy link. It'll obviously, it helps the channel out. So very grateful for anyone that signs up with any of the Stonksy links. But yeah, please do go check it out. And of course, yeah, if you want to do any of this, you can trade stocks with leverage. You can trade new IPOs. You can trade, obviously, Bitman, MicroStrategy, SBET. You can trade, obviously, S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Can also do, currency pairs. And this is obviously on-chain trading. So you do it with crypto. So you don't have to go and sign up to any of the others, where typically you'd have to KYC and that. But so yeah, do check it out, please. What's happening? Nothing real much. Obviously, Tesla being the outlier, down almost 5% the day following earnings. Is it going to come up and close this gap, or are we going to see a bigger drop off on Tesla? The rest of the Mag 7 look pretty steady. Obviously, Apple being the other biggest mover, which is up just 1/3%. Apart from that, they're all in and around, obviously close to opening. But yeah, Tesla being hit hard today after earnings. Bitcoin is making a move, though. Bitcoin is making a move. We're pushing up. Pretty steady open for Bitcoin. We're not actually really getting that much volatility on opens anymore, are we? We're not really getting much volatility on opens. Not over the past kind of 2 weeks anyway. Let's take a look at what the S&P 500's doing. So yeah, that's pushed up on open as well. That's pushed up a little bit on open in the first 5 minutes. Green candle. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's see what's going on over in cryptos. And not really much change for any of the big movers. Pumping hype still around the daily highs. Obviously, Bitcoin's moved up a little bit more. Solana's moving more now. So Solana's moving 6.5% up today on the day. That's now back above 190. So obviously not too far away from $200 again. The rest of the altcoins starting to push up a little bit more than he was actually. We're now starting to see 3, 4, 5% instead of 1s and 2s. Yeah, Bitcoin's having a mighty push up here. I didn't know you were on PEDs. What are you on about, you? Hey. What are you on about, you, RN? This. It's I sorry to ruin your assumption, but this is a WEEX inhaler nasal stick, which is basically just mostly menthol to try and clear out my cold. What did you think it was? Like smelling salts or something? I don't know. Oh, it's getting a big push up now. Yeah, seems like definitely on open anyway. Things are looking positive over in the stock market and in crypto. Tesla's still down 5%. This obviously has the potential to maybe come up and close some or all of this gap, though, throughout the rest of the day, unless weakness stays. Nvidia's slightly negative on the day, but overall, nothing really too major movement-wise, is there? There's not really been anything major movement-wise. Dave in Thailand. It's called Yaba. What's called Yaba? What are you describing to me as yabba? Look at hype go. 11% on the day now. Bitcoin's starting to push. Bitcoin is starting to push 109.4k. Can we go back towards that daily high and get above it? Obviously 110.3. Should see some really nice movement on altcoins if we can. I mean, Solana's starting to embark on that push back towards 200 now. Let's see what have we got that's up the most on the day. Let's see. So yeah, hype, Monero, obviously we covered that as well. And then the rest of them, not really too much now. I'm not exactly sure what time zone CoinMarketCap measures in. Because as you can see, this has only got Solana up by 3.69%, where obviously you come over to TradingView and the time frame on my TradingView is up 6.56. So obviously a little bit of a discrepancy there on time frame wise. I mean, yeah, look at hype, nearly 12% up now for the day. Wild. Bitcoin pushing 109.5. The S&P pushing up nicely. It's all looking quite rosy on open, isn't it? I'm interested though, Steve. What's called yabba? What are you on about called yabba? Good that though. It clears your airways nicely, especially when you got cold. It's what you need, isn't it? It is what you need. Starting to drop back down a bit now. So obviously after a good 10 minutes on open, we are now starting to retrace a little bit. Obviously retracing this previous 5-minute candle almost. Let's hope that wasn't a good style pump then dump by the New York Open. Currently, we're coming back down towards where we opened New York now. So that pump is looking under threat. I mean, from this point on, what do we want to see? Depends what time frame you're looking at, really. Because like I mentioned towards the start of the stream, if you zoom out, we're basically just hanging around consolidating, aren't we? These swings don't really mean much when you are just within, one big area. This is obviously just chop, 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 chop. But in terms of obviously today, unless we're going to come back and, retrace it all the way back down here, you'd want it to start heading towards the daily high and hopefully then, show signs of bullish momentum and start to push, maybe coming back in towards the current weekly highs up here. But like I said, with CPI tomorrow, we may not get any big move now. Who is willing to risk and take risk in the market currently with CPI being tomorrow? We may not get that. We may get some liquidation moves, maybe come and clear out the daily high and drop back below. I don't know, maybe we drop down and then bounce back up. May get some liquidity gains, but I wouldn't rule out maybe not doing anything until tomorrow in terms of what is the market doing. But the S&P is pushing up. This is carrying on pushing up. Strength on open. But yeah, not the most of exciting of opens, is it? Nice to see a push up, but yeah, we're kind of lacking that volatility, which I do suspect, obviously, is because of the headline and the thumbnail in today's live stream, which is obviously CPI tomorrow and then FOMC next Wednesday. I estimate once CPI is out the way, that should pave the way then for some form of move leading into FOMC. Now, whether that is de-risking or whether that is sourcing, some sort of bullish momentum going into it, we'll have to wait and see. But as always, I'll be watching CPI on stream tomorrow, so don't miss it. Do not miss it. Let's see what we got. And a lot of things just aren't moving, are they? Like, you've got the strong ones, obviously Sol, Pump. Look at Pump now, over 10% up, so this is carrying on. Hype's carrying on. But apart from them three, the market is just kind of stuck in it and not really doing anything. Just not really much going on. So yeah. Look at how Stonksy performed on this. Oh, that is glorious, isn't it? How close can it get to zero? How close can it get to zero? Yeah, that's down another 16% today. But yeah, not really much movement. Not really much movement. If you haven't dropped a like, please do drop a like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Of course, click them links in the description as well. Do sign up to the on-chain trading. If you're interested in obviously trading stocks, indices, if you're interested in trading any FX currencies, do come and check it out and have a look at it. And obviously, yeah, please do sign up with the Stonksy link. Massively appreciated. And of course, supports the channel. Asta in and around $1 in it. Yesterday, I think it dropped to 93 cents. We can see we got the Stonksy green background. We got the green arrow. I don't know if you can see it, but I've highlighted it there. For that double confirmation, that was in and around 99 cents. And then we are now at 102. So nice push up. As soon as that arrow came in, we're now currently 4% up. So nice movement. And there you go. Another, again, just showing how good the 5-minute Stonksy chart is. But Bitcoin started to make a push back to the upside now. Insane millionaire. I am long in Bitcoin from 112. What to do? I mean, that really depends on the context on it as well. That really depends on the context. I mean, I'm not here to give any financial advice, so I'm not going to tell you what to do in how managing that position. But I mean, really, what you want to identify is what is your risk that's on the table. Where is your stop loss? First and foremost, insane millionaire. Where is your stop loss? I suppose that would be my first question: is where is your stop loss? Because you're still in the position, so your stop loss can't have triggered. So your position isn't invalidated yet, I suppose, because you've not been stopped out. So whatever theory you opened the trade with at 112, wherever you've put your stop loss is at 106. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of in the middle, aren't you? You're kind of like slap bang, pretty much in the middle of them both. Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one. I suppose it just depends on what how do you think Bitcoin's looking? You know, how do you think Bitcoin's looking? What I would say is, obviously, tomorrow we have CPI. So obviously just keep monitoring Bitcoin and your position. But we may not even get that much volatility tomorrow. You know, if it comes in on forecast, we may not really get anything. If it comes in hot, then depending on how hot, the reaction could be quite interesting. But I mean, in terms of what to do, I suppose that just depends on you, doesn't it? Like, that depends on you. Like, when you open the trade, what was you opening the trade for is what you want to ask yourself, and it is, why was you opening the trade? And that belief and that theory and that plan of opening the trade at 112, has that been invalidated yet, or has it not? And maybe are you just kind of riding some drawdown for what maybe the plan's still on? Maybe you're looking for it to go to 120 or whatever, but what kind of was your plan opening at 112? I suppose is the key thing. Rolled my plug into silver, preparing for 2028 recession. Lol. I think it's going to come faster than that, mate. I think it's going to come faster than that. By my estimates, next year could be quite a brutal year. Nick, how we doing? Great to see you, mate. But yeah, I mean, I'm also looking at next year and into 2027. You got to remember, markets are forward looking, so the markets will start pricing in a recession before the actual recession hits, and then when the recession hits, markets will already be starting their recovery. So if a recession hits in 2028, the destruction really should start in like 2026 onwards, because by the time 2028 comes, markets forward looking, they'll have already been pricing in and moving into a recession. Yeah, not bad, mate. Well, what have I been doing? I mean, personally, I've just been stacking up on short ETFs so far. Last couple of weeks, started buying Nvidia short ETF, S&P 500 short ETF, and basically that is my plan for the next couple of months, is to just consistently just start rolling money into them, obtaining short exposure to the stock market, and yeah, Go back to previous recessions. Precious metal rise 2 to 3 years before and peak 1 year recession. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I've never really done much research and data analysis on how metals perform in recessions, apart from on gold. I've never really looked at silver, but you know, you can basically judge the rest of them, can't you, on what gold's doing. There was a report yesterday about quantum processors cracking crypto. That's expected in 2030 unless they solve it. That can't be good. Nothing to worry about. That is just a clickbaity headline. I believe that there is already work ongoing to upgrade Bitcoin to quantum proof. I think they're already working on it, and it'll be the same for the rest of crypto. You know, obviously you may not get like smaller blockchains and stuff like that doing it because they may not even be relevant by then. But things like Ethereum, Solana and stuff like that, I really just wouldn't worry about it. It's more so just a clickbaity headline. But yeah, big thank you for joining me today. Of course, if you haven't, drop a like, subscribe, and yeah, if you aren't signed up to Stonksy, come and join us. Just loading it. Yeah, you can sign up to obviously any of the plans, but lifetime, annual, monthly obviously gets you full access to everything. The oscillator only one is as it sounds, just the oscillator and the Discord access. The rest of them get you full access to everything. The monthly still has the offer of the bot 20 for your first month, so obviously you can claim that here. Putting code bot20 on the monthly one will get you 20% off your first month. Lifetime and annual, there is no deals on them at the moment, unless you come and watch this video here, the latest upload to the Stonksy channel, making profits by swapping your coffee. There is actually a nice little treat in there for anyone looking to get the lifetime or annual. So do go and watch that, or just go and watch it anyway. And yeah, obviously, if you're looking to trade any crypto, sign up to BLOFIN. If you're looking to trade any stocks, sign up to our Vest Markets referral in the description. And yeah, that's everything from me today. I'll see you back tomorrow. Bit of a kind of lackluster, boring open, weren't it? We've not really done much, but we do have CPI tomorrow, so tomorrow's stream should be absolutely mega. Do come and join me. Make sure you jump in, and we'll see. Are we in for some carnage? Are we in for a nothing burger? It's gonna be good either way. But yeah, thanks for joining, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.